All
Pretty
right.
cool.
So we are live, people. Um, Welcome everybody to Syndi-Comics Weekly. This is the best of 2018 episode. Um, we've been gone for a long time. As you guys know, I've been moving and going through a lot of stuff lately here, so we've been dealing with a lot of that on our side here. But we finally got everything coordinated for at least to get us to sit down and at least talk about the best comics of 2018 with some categories that we had that we thought would be good for us. Um, so, without being said, BJ, do you
Yep.
have anything within like the last month that you got that you want to show, like from a haul perspective?
Um, I did go on vacation week before Christmas. I went to Orlando with my parents and my sister and her two youngest, and we hit up some stores after we went to the parks and whatnot. I got a couple of figures. I did get the Marvel Select Thanos at one of the stores. Um, I found some of the toy box figures too, and I got Vader. He's pretty cool. And then at a couple of the they call them the warehouse stores down there for Disney, but it's like the clearance stores. I found a couple more. Um, I got the Black Widow, and then I also got Ray. Oh, damn, right, it's perfect. There we go. And I like these. These are pretty fun. They're not expensive, and it's kind of what like the old Disney Infinity figs that they had. Well, not the figs, but the play things you just stand there. But they got articulation and everything except for uh, abs and waist. So it's pretty cool. And I got this from my mom. I had this when I was a kid, and we lost it during the moving. So it's my Flash Gordon vinyl.
Oh yeah, I've got that one. I
Yeah.
remember that one all too well. Yeah.
Of course, by Queen. So,
Yep.
and then my dad got me a 3D printer.
Ah. All
Yeah,
right, so I need a bunch of transformer parts now, so get it fired up.
I've got to learn how to use this thing. I have no idea. I agree. I went joined some groups in Facebook. I've went online to learn how to do some things. It's going to take a lot of time. That's what I was going to get more busier now with that. Probably I tried a couple of weekends ago to start working, but things happened, so I can get a chance to do a trial print. So I'm really excited. It was fun to install or build, so I can't wait to work on that thing. So
All right, so what you
um,
need to do is, remember the old Batman, the head from Batman 66, they used to use to open the door with? You need to
yeah.
make one of those shelf.
Oh God, I'm not sure how big I can do it because the printer maybe he could probably do like that. Well, maybe like that big. I'm not sure. And I gotta get a caliper so I can measure like heads and then put the little in the software and then start molding things. Brock was the first one to want something, so I was like, okay, give me give me a year.
Okay, that's awesome. Um, I finally got some comics the other day. If you guys saw the episode I did from Mike Vizzini, I got a crap ton of books. And that was like 6 months of books just waiting. And you've been on his auctions, you know how they go,
Hmm.
so. But I tell them just hold on to everything until you get a box, and then that box becomes two boxes, and three boxes, and then four boxes. And I'm like, holy crap! So it was like Christmas all over again. But I did want to show you the highlights from those that I did get. First up, we got the Lucia Perello Virgin cover for Generations All New Wolverine. This is the KRS Comics edition. So definitely was happy to get that one. because it was part of a set. It was that one, and then the trade dress version. We got another. This is a Nook Lee. This is the Virgin for X-Men Red #1. Definitely, I love this cover. You guys know I'm a huge Wolverine fan, both of Logan as well as of Laura.
Yeah.
Um, I did get first appearance of Mr. Sinister, Uncanny X-Men 221. So definitely love that one. Um, One of the big books we got.
What's up,
This is
Rabbit?
a big. Now you guys remember we had talked about this months ago. This is X-Men #4, first appearance of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, as well as it's got first appearance of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, Jason Wingard as Mastermind, Toad. So was so happy to finally get this one back. And that process takes a long time. Anybody's got a book graded knows you can get a book pressed and cleaned and then sent to slab, and it could take you freaking 4 months, 6 months to get the book back. Um, but the
Yeah.
last thing that I got was this bad boy. Green
Yeah.
Lantern, Green Arrow, 76. My boy Neil Adams. Now, it's not like a huge grade. It's only a 4 or 5. But it is an extreme key, and I definitely want it for the collection. So, like I
Nice.
said, that's just some of the highlights from the haul I got. And Hypno actually is shipping out my books from November, December, and these 2 weeks coming up. So they've already said it's a short box and a half. So it's gonna be a long video for you guys. That's all I got to say.
Oh boy.
All right. So without further ado, we're gonna start our best of 2018. Now we have some categories that we are using from that we used some of them last year. Plus we made some new ones this year. Hey Rabbit, welcome in, man. Welcome everybody into the stream. You guys give us comments, and we want to hear things from you guys too as well. I mean, tell us what your best stuff is. So what I want to do is after tonight, I'm going to take the same categories that BJ and myself and the other guys have. I'm going to put that on Syndi-Comics, and I want to hear what you guys think for that. So that's coming probably tonight or first thing in the morning. So, and BJ freaking added a category at the last second. But hey, it worked out because you know why? It's a great freaking category. All right, so we're going to actually start from that category, actually. Best WTF spoiler moment in comics from 2018. So, with that being said, BJ, what is yours?
I don't have the comic on me. I let my friend borrow them. I just found that out about maybe 15 minutes ago. I looked at my boxes. I was like, oh shit. But I did this because I wanted to put this comic in there. It's been a comic I've been reading for 3, 4 years now. Um, Saga, the last 2 issues. Plug your ears if you haven't read it yet. But um, the Will catches up with Prince Robot the Fourth, and Marco's with Prince Robot. Um, Robot is about to die. And Marco's like, no, he's changed. I'm sorry, things happen to you past 4 years. People change and everything. Can we do something about it? And he sat there and thought, like, no, I'm good, and snaps Prince Robot's head like right off. He rips the thing off, and then following the next issue, um, they fight the Will and Marco dies. And Marco is one of the main characters in the issue. And then at the end of the issue, Brian K. Vaughan writes a letter saying, spoiler alert, that they're going to be taking a year or more off on the comic book because they want to try to finish ending it. Run
Now,
runner up
that's the
is
way to end a comic.
the runner up is Transformers versus Visionaries when Cup dies.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my moments for the year. Is like, it's like, but here's the catch: is that Transformers is getting reset here in about a month, so it don't matter now. IDW's
Yeah.
rebooting Transformers, so can't wait for the new series to come out. I mean, I'm still collecting, the IDW collection,
Hmm.
hardcovers. That way I can catch up. So it'll take them probably 5 more years, 6 more years to get all the way up through Unicron. Um, so for me, I'm okay with that, because we get rebooted and I can start with the new ones.
Hmm.
Now, my WTF moment slash spoiler is actually a pretty common book. It's Extermination number one. And the reason why is if you've not read this is the death of Cable. So Cable was killed by X-Man in this book. And X-Man, of course, is the same Nate Gray that came from Age of Apocalypse. Um,
I think it was
yeah,
younger Cable killed him, wasn't it? Or is that the same person?
it's the same person. Nate Gray is the same thing as X-Man from Age
Okay.
of Apocalypse. But the problem is when was the last time you saw X-Man in the actual comics? The last time I remember was he was supposedly killed off, about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're getting ready to have Age of X-Man, come aboard, and after Uncanny X-Men 8.
Hmm.
So, but this was my WTF moment because I'm like, you guys just killed a dude that's been in comics for almost 30 years. You killed Cable.
Yep.
Now, what does that also say too about comics? Nobody really dies forever. Look at Wolverine. They killed him off for a good 3 years, but then of course they
Hmm.
made a huge saga to bring him back alive. And it's like, oh god, I'm still like trying to get through Return of Wolverine. Um, but yeah, it's just to me, I was like, Cable's one of my favorite characters. I've been reading him since he was in New Mutants, all the way through X Force, Cable and
Hmm.
Deadpool. The last Cable run they just did this last year, and I was real sad to see them kill Cable off. Hey, welcome in Live with Brock and Brett King. Thank you guys for coming by. Um,
Well, hello,
so
Brock.
Brocky Brock. So, like we were saying before, Brock bailed on Syndi-Comics as an admin. He wanted to go do customs instead. So, shout out to my boy Live with Brock. He does some fantastic customs. Go out there and go take a look at he has puts a lot on his channel. Go check him out. And he does a weekly top customs he does. So freaking there's some great people on there. All right. So next category we have the best hardcover slash graphic novel for 2018. What is yours, BJ?
Okay. Apparently, I only do one hard book a year. I've got a lot of trade paperbacks, but I'm not considering those into the graphic novel slash hardcover because they came out as regular issues before that. But I read this one, and this one came out this year, and it was really good. Part two of Batman: The Dark Prince Charming by Marini.
And he's the
Pretty good.
Italian artist, right? The one's in Italy that does that one.
Yep, yep. It's pretty good. Pretty good artwork too. Good storyline. I enjoyed it. His version. He of course he had Catwoman in here as well, and a couple of his Joker's henchmen was very entertaining as well. I'm trying to find a decent picture. It does not kind of ludicrous there. That one's pretty good. Share there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but very good storyline. Good read, and that is my pick for this of 2018 hard book.
Well, see, I actually thought of it the other way. Is that it could be a hardcover or a graphic novel, could be a trade paperback. And the reason why there's a little bit of story behind this one. It is
All right.
Batman White Knight. By the time I moved to Ventura, I'd already missed the first two issues of it, and they were sold out everywhere. So, like I said, for me, this book, Batman White Knight, was amazing. I've read it 3 times back to cover because I love this book. Um, and I can't wait, because in June we get the sequel. Azrael is going to be in the
Yeah,
sequel.
yeah, I can't wait for
So,
that.
and it's an amazing thing, which I thought was funny too, though, is that right here, this is considered a DC Black Label book, whereas the
You gotta
original
switch your
was,
screen around.
huh?
You gotta switch your screen around.
Oh, yeah. I'm still figuring this thing out. But yeah, the DC Black Label is on the book, the trade paperback, but it's not on the main comic issues. So that to me that was kind of ironic is that they kind of retroed or retconned a lot of stuff into DC Black Label. Um, but it's an amazing storyline. So just think of it this way: if you've not read it, I'm not going to spoil the whole book, but just think about what happens when the Joker becomes a good guy, and he's no longer the Joker. He's just a normal human being. That would be the catch 22 is like what would the scenario be? What would Batman do? And it turns Batman's world upside down, and it is a freaking awesome book. So, and with this one, what I did like that he did do was at the end they did put all the covers, like the old days, like you
Yeah,
guys let's see, where is that number one? These are like all the variants.
good. They got some good
Uh,
variants.
Yeah, like I want that one. I want that number one.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
nice.
So I mean, this is what I like. It's funny too because DC and Image and those guys, and some of the more independent ones, they still do these kind of things, sketch
Mhm.
drawings and whatnot.
Yep.
Marvel doesn't do that a lot anymore in theirs. It's pretty much storyline. That's it. You might get a couple of covers in the end if you're lucky, but that's about
Yeah.
it. So, mad props to DC out there. And like I said, that is my top hardcover slash graphic novel for the year, Batman White Knight.
Very
Mortal
good.
Ring Wars. Welcome in, Brett. Brett the Tank Downey. All right. So we got our next category. Best surprise series that was good. There's been a lot of those this year that turned really good, and then they kind of fizzled out over there. Action Comics, Superman. Um, um, hey, I'm sorry, Bendis can't write Superman anymore. I don't know what happened with him, man. Like Man of Steel was such a great series, but after that first couple of issues, Action Comics, that subscription got turned off real fast. Um, so, what is your best surprise series that was actually good, BJ?
um, this was I had two, but I can't remember which one I decided to choose on.
Well, don't
I
choose. Just you can show them both because I have some ties in some of my categories.
okay. A couple of mine are gonna be mixed together. One, I was like, I couldn't decide if I wanted to start it up, reading it. It is a miniseries, actually, yeah. But a lot of people were talking about it, how it's really good, and I wasn't too familiar with the writer, even though he's probably one of the biggest ones of this past year. And my comic book store had the first issue on half off, I think. So I was like, might as well try it. And the first issue really got me going. And um, Death of Inhumans.
Oh yeah.
Um, it just because the Inhumans, I think, just whenever the TV series came out last year, it got terrible reviews, and it was god awful. And I thought that it would kind of hurt the Inhumans storylines and whatnot, and because you don't really hear, Inhumans, you got to read them, all. So when the Death in Inhumans, I was like, man, I don't know, and then it caught me good. It was really good. The second one, there's only like 3 or 4 issues in. I read the um, a small part of it at the end of a comic book, and I was like, okay, this seems. I'll try it out, and I just love it. And I had to have it in best of, even though there's only 3 or 4 in, but it's Murder Falcon. from Image
Well,
Comics. Yeah, yeah. With the storyline, this kid used to be a band. They broke up for sad reasons. Then all of a sudden, these monsters start coming around, and this one guy, this Murder Falcon character, giant falcon with a robot arm, tells him, "You need to start riffing your guitar right now, so I can get power to destroy the monsters." And he does, and he's like, "Well, we need to get the band back together again." And then it's just a journey to get the bassist and the drummer to find their instruments of destiny to fight off all these monsters because they keep on coming back, and each character in the band has their own uh, metal animal too, which is really great. It's fun. It's very fun to read. Very entertaining.
yeah, well, it reminds you of like Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great movie.
Oh, yeah. So, welcome in, Elite Legend Toys Collectibles, Keyshawn, Ryan. Welcome in, guys. Um, yeah, I read the first issue of that one, and I was like, "Oh, this is such cheese," but it was good cheese.
Yeah, I love
uh,
it.
so my surprise series that was actually really good, and this was a surprise not just to me, but to all comic shops in America, and it's Die Die Die. This is the variant cover because it actually says I'm Nate on it, and I was like, I gotta get that one since it says I'm Nate on it. Uh, but it's actually a really good series. It's definitely different. I've only got the first comic out of the series so far, waiting on the rest to come in. But it was actually a really good story, and a lot of it's because it's Kirkman writing it,
Mhm.
and I like Ryan. I love Kirkman doing his stuff, and it's got Scott Gimple supporting him, so I know it's going to be a good story. Um, but there was a lot of controversy about this book because it literally just showed up on a Wednesday or on a really Tuesday, at an LCS, and they're like, "What do we do with this book?" It wasn't in previews. It wasn't in any solicitations. Image just dropped the book, on everybody's lap, and then it
Yeah.
sold out of the shelves like in the first couple of hours. Everybody wanted that book, and I wanted it too. And you guys tried to find it for me, and you couldn't because it was already gone.
Mhm.
So that was kind of the catch 22. Like I want it, if it's that good of a story that's flying off the shelf, I want to read it. It was the same way with the Oblivion Song. Oblivion Song almost made it up there with it because that started last year too. And that's another Kirkman book as well. And it's an amazing storyline. Just think about what happens if you made a machine that can bring half of a dimension into your world, and then your part of your world goes sucked into that dimension, and then how do you deal with that, and it was real interesting. And I'm not going to spoil it because that storyline gets crazy, especially now it's even worse. So definitely recommend Die 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 and Oblivion Song.
Brilliant song. Excellent.
Okay, next category: best ongoing series that's not been canceled yet. Because in Marvel terms, if you go past 6 issues, that's a regular series. Um, so, BJ, what is your best ongoing series?
Okay. Um, it's Domino. I liked it. I enjoy it. Very good story. And it's in every issue I've enjoyed. Just having um, different side stories for Domino, the writer and artist collab well. Just having a lot of B-rated characters come in and being pretty badass, basically.
Now, do you have any honorable mentions with yours?
I would love to put X-Men Red on there, but it's canceled.
Yeah, that's
Um,
kind of a problem. It's like that last. I was like,
yeah. And I've noticed myself this past year, I've been doing a lot of like maxi series and mini series. The only storylines I've actually kept are Domino and Saga throughout the whole year. That's been ongoing still. I did drop Walking Dead, but I'm just going to start grabbing the trades for that just because I'd rather get the trades for that one.
Well, it's like for me, I do the compendiums for Walking Dead, because they
Yeah.
have 50 issues in a compendium. So when volume four comes out, that'll catch me all the way up to now, so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's been a lot of ongoing series that suck this year on both Marvel and DC side combined. But there's been a couple of like nuggets of greatness out there, and that's why I actually have three. It's a three-way tie for me. So my three-way tie is between it's Astonishing X-Men. Rosenberg and Land are doing it now, but before, we had Charles Soule and them doing it. Um, it's a great story because the way they do the characters in here, it's a rotating team of people. It reminds me of the old days of Marvel Comic Presents, where you'd have a rotating artist, rotating writer,
Mm-hmm.
the characters would rotate through. Um, but it's only X-Men that's rotating through in this one, and that's what I like about it. And it's not popular characters either. I mean, like you look at it, you got Havoc and Warpath, and Dazzler. We're
Exactly.
talking about minor characters, not your Wolverines, not your Cyclops, not your Jean Grey. These are minor characters, and they're making it into an awesome story.
Yeah.
So definitely, like I said, that's why it was in a tie for me. Number two out of that three-way tie is Cyberforce.
Ah, forgot.
Um, because just the amazing work that Brian Hill, Rojo, and Hawkins are doing on it. And it's overseen by Mark Silvestri. He still does the covers. So I love the storyline. It's that '90s feel like we used to have with like Wildcats and Cyberforce, Youngblood out there. Love those stories, and I'm always going to be a huge Image guy. But I love Cyberforce because it is the almost like a pseudo X Force, like an uncanny X Force characters and heroes that's going to go attack and stop things. Um, and you also get a dude called Rip Claw in it. If you got a dude named Rip Claw, things are going to work out for you.
Oh yeah. Uh,
All right, and then the last one for the three-way tie is a DC book actually, and it's Justice League Dark. Um, I love this series. I mean, and it's because I love fantasy and I love horror and I love those kind of things and science. Um, but when you put like Swamp Thing and Wonder Woman and Zatanna together, Constantine's in here, you know, Man
mhm.
Bat. When's the last time you saw Man Bat in the DC comics? So it's like it's a ragtag of people put together, but they're all great stories.
Mhm.
So Justice League Dark definitely is like I said, is my number three in my three-way tie for best ongoing series. And at one point they were talking about canceling Justice League Dark, but then something else happened, and I'll talk about that later tonight.
Yeah.
Um, so um, Dewdog's in the house. Welcome in, Dewdog. Yeah, you definitely need to go read Old Man Hawkeye. One of the best stories out there of the year. It just barely came out over this. Um, and I was going to use it in another category, but there's something else beat it. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
I did just remember when looking at some comments, there are a couple of ongoing series I am reading that are on Hoopla. They are DC that I'm enjoying. The Flash, I'm not caught up all the way on that, but I do like that one. And then you can also put this one in as surprise series that I am starting to enjoy was Red Hood and the Outlaws as well. Just because bringing up, like we said, side characters, put them together, make them work into storyline, and with the art as well, it works out really good.
Yeah, I'm at that's a it's a great series. I've read part of it, and then of course my LCS only gets like two copies of it in, so I don't
Mhm.
ever get it. So I'm gonna have to wait for the trades to come out. But one that shocked me that was really good this year though was Green Lantern by Grant Morrison.
Mm,
That was a phenomenal story for the first issue. I've not read past it. That's why I couldn't put it into any categories
mhm,
because I can't have a fair judgment till at least I get 2 to 3 issues into it. Except for Die Die Die, that was an automatic easy, um, because it was like a what the heck kind of moment. But um, definitely Green Lantern from Grant Morrison was freaking awesome from the first issue. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, when I get issues 2 and 3 in, that they're just as good.
mm.
Um, okay, our next category, best miniseries. Now, Brock actually brought up a good point the other day. What's the difference between a miniseries, a maxi series, and ongoing? Well, let's explain that. Miniseries usually are anywhere from 1 to 6 issues. Maxi series are anywhere from 6 to 12 issues. And then an ongoing, of course, is a ongoing. You know, it starts and it keeps going until somebody gets ticked off, like if you're Marvel, and then you cancel after 6 or 7 issues. So it really was a miniseries. Um, but that's kind of how those go. So when we say miniseries for us, we're thinking the traditional 1 to 6 issues. So BJ, what was your best miniseries of the year?
Okay. I cheated a little bit because it was 8 issues, but I
That's all
have
right.
two. Wait. Death of the Humans. Very good. Very, 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 very good. I mean, look at that character though. Just some guy just come out of there. And then if you haven't read it yet, I can't spoil this one about who these kind of characters are. But
Oh, we could spoil that. I've read the whole series.
yeah.
That's
Um,
Boz. Freaking Boz is. I'm not. I don't care. This is our channel. This is our thing. We got to talk about that one a little bit because uh, remember when I was telling you about it about 6 months ago? I said you want to pick up this issue, right?
mhm.
I said there's a reason for that, and the freaking ending is phenomenal. You know, it's
Yeah.
like you find out that Fox is just a copy of a copy of a copy of somebody else, and
Mhm.
then they're actually the real Inhumans are in the bodies of these boxes.
Yeah.
Um, but the sad part is the only really one person died in the whole, that really died. You know, they pseudo killed most of the Inhumans.
Yeah.
And that was the brother, the
Yeah.
crazy guy. Yeah.
Maximus. Yeah.
Maximus. Yeah. He was the one that actually died, in the series. But it was an amazing run, though. And it's our boy, Donny Cates. There's a reason for that.
Mhm. But my number one for DC as well is Batman White Knight.
Yep.
Sean Murphy. I when I saw Sean Murphy was going to do this, when I saw the first cover, I was like, oh, I'm going to get it just because I liked his issues that he did with Image called Tokyo Ghost, and
Hmm.
then he also did Chrononauts with Mark Millar. So, and then Rick Remender was with Tokyo Ghost, and then he did this one himself, writing and drawing it as well. So it's amazing. I love his artwork as well. And then Matt Hollingsworth is the colorist. He also did the same with Tokyo Ghost. So I was like, okay, I'm in. So, but it's good. One thing with these black labels, I hope this is kind of a leeway for the DC channel or app to perhaps make these into small stories and to put them in a live, like a live mini series, something like that. 'Cause I would love to see something like this. This would make me. I would buy the DC app just to watch something like this.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the catch 22 is like if they bring these kind of stories over, I'd be all over it in a heartbeat as well. I mean, I want to watch the Swamp Thing one. You know, I want to see that one just because
Mhm.
it's supposed to be based on the Alan Moore version of Swamp Thing, and it's like okay, I want to see it. I'm not a huge fan of Titans. I've seen some episodes of it. It was kind of a pass and fail for me. But what I do want to see is Batwoman coming out with Ruby, was it Ruby Red or whatever her
Mhm.
name is? I
Rudy
want to see
Rudy.
that interpretation done. Um, so, Shazakat and Raiji, welcome in, guys. Um,
Yeah,
so, my mini series of the year is, of course, the same thing. It's Batman White Knight. I can't get over this. I mean, I want to read it again. That just tells you how
yeah,
good this miniseries is. There's so many of things that you pick up too after you've read it the first time.
yeah,
Um, I liked how Sean Murphy did it. The storyline, he was kind of if it's an Elseworlds kind of feel to it, which is a harken back to the '90s days of the stories where they let writers just write and artists just draw in color like they wanted to do. And I'm hoping the same thing because Batman Damned is the same way. That was, I've read the first issue, I haven't read the second yet. But it's the same vein. They're letting them do whatever they want to do, and they're
hmm
making phenomenal stories out of it, and which is amazing. Which that's us as comic book readers want to hear and see and do is let them be themselves. Don't put them into a bucket. I mean, I was about this damn close to put the Tom King Batman 50 on what the fuck. Oh shit! Well, there's my monetization. But I was gonna say is I was like, come on, Tom King. I mean, but it's not his fault either because he's also said too there are things in play that's out of his hands too. So I mean, DC's kind of holding his hands a little bit with Batman, so he can only do certain things he wants to do. And he's also said it's going to take me 100 issues to get through my whole saga that I want to get through.
yeah,
So it's like, ah, you know. So will I go back and read Batman? Probably once it's completed. Once the Tom King run is done, I'll sit down and I'll have a better idea. We kind of were talking about this the other day too with Kyle. Is maybe sit back again, put it with new eyes again after it's been a while, and then reread it. I mean, I've
hmm
did the same thing with stories too, and it's been better the second time through it. And maybe it'll make more sense once they have that whole saga completed too.
right.
Um, but yeah, miniseries though, it's got to be White Knight. There was only two other miniseries I was even contending with mine, and it was Death of Inhumans, with it, and then we had the Old Man Hawkeye, and it's a maxi series, so that couldn't go into that category.
Yeah,
So no, nothing else really stood out to me. I mean, Sleepwalker was good, but it's out on par with White Knight. I mean, I like Sleepwalker from Chad. The
yeah,
rest of Infinity Wars has been crap, though.
mm,
So that has been the cast. There's been so many miniseries and one shots with that. So just get the crap over with.
yeah.
Um, but I will say I did like the twist out of the last Thor issue I read with Wolverine being the Phoenix in it. I was like, oh, okay, I like that. Um, so yeah, that is my mini series for this year for 2018.
Good stuff.
All right, on to our next category, and that is best interior artist. So let's define what that means. That means who draws on the inside, not the cover, because we're gonna have a cover category later. There's a lot of times there's so many artists that do covers. Greg Land's a good example of that. Greg Horn, Francisco Montina, Delato. I mean, all these big cover names. A lot of times the interior artist gets thrown to the wayside a lot of times because of that. So we wanted to highlight that this year. And there's been a lot of great artists this year that's done some amazing work on the inside of the book. So that's why we're doing it. So BJ, who is
Yep.
your best interior artist for 2018?
I'm gonna butcher this name. David Baldion, artist for Domino.
Ooh,
Um, I loved it. It's just it looks so good, man. Look at that thing. So awesome. Working with the colors and everything. I just loved it.
I like how Greg Land does all the covers though on that one.
Yeah, he does. And I guess my runner-up would possibly would be Greg Land for Astonishing X-Men.
Yeah. That's kind of the hard thing that there's not a lot that a lot of them because between the drawer or the penciler or the colorist and those kind of guys, I mean that's a merging of minds to get this stuff done. So let's see what here's my runner up, which actually you brought it up, and it was Astonishing X-Men. Um, and of course, that is my runner up with Greg Land and Paul Leaston. Leaston, of course, being the colorist, with Paul, Greg Land. So that's my runner up. It is Astonishing X Men. But ironically, my best interior artist though is a random that nobody would probably would have thought. Sam Keith. I love Sam Keith's work. He does his own artist. He writes. He colors. He does all of it. Sort of like our other boy, Adam Fields. Um, but just the drawings. I mean, you see some work from Sam Keith. You know it's Sam Keith just like you see, just like Jay Lee. I mean, anytime you see a Jay Lee thing, you're like, you got to almost identify it within a heartbeat. That's Jay Lee. But yeah,
Well,
Sam Keith. I love his work on the Max in the '90s, the Batman run. Hell, everybody remembers his run in Marvel Comics Presents. He did. Um, so my best interior artist, Sam Keith for 2018. All right. So moving on along in the same vein, we're going to look at the best cover artist for 2018. Now, you guys know I'm a huge variant guy. I love my variant covers, and it's because of the artwork that's on the cover. Um, so there's been a lot of artists this year that's done covers. J. Scott Campbell, Delato, Granoff, Mentina. Heck, I mean, you name it. You've done. Jim Lee's been doing covers now again.
hmm
Um, so there's been so many of these been done this year, but it is cool to be in a world where you can buy a specific artist that does a cover for a specific comic that you like. Um, so, with that being said, who is your top cover artist this year, BJ, for 2018?
Um, it is. I have no idea what the first name is because it's not in the book, but it came from Unknown Comics. Last name is Brooks, but it's my New Mutants Dead Souls cover.
Yep, Mark Brooks.
Is that what that one is? Because it's got it on the back right there. So I really like this one. It's phenomenal. Look at those characters in the background. And then he also has a variance upon variance of this one with her and the all black with the horns popping out too. And then run up was going to be Greg Land because he's everywhere, all over Domino and all over Astonishing X Men. Does a really good job.
Definitely. Yeah, the Mark Brooks covers and the Delgados and the Diodatos, they've been doing some great work. I saw that Dark Child variant and I was like, I want that one, but I was like, it was too expensive at the time. And
Yes.
now it's even worse. So I'm like, nope, I'm no, negative.
Yep.
It's like J. Scott Campbell's stuff. His is the same way. It's like it gets astronomical. If you don't pre-order it or get it, through KRS or J. Scott Campbell's page, or if you don't go through Unknown Comics, one of them avenues to get those variants, you're not getting them. It's like,
Nope.
and the Comic Mint is a good example of one. Like the Comic Mint has tons of variants, and they're really reasonable on prices too on their stuff. But that's the catch 22.
Yeah.
Hey, Prulio, welcome in, man. Hey, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everybody's out here tonight. We're glad to be back for finally. um, so yeah, it's the same thing for me. I've got multiple people for me, and best cover artist. All right, runner up, Clayton Crane, doing Venomized. I love Clayton Crane's work. I mean, it's just a different dynamic. I loved how he did the connecting covers on Venomverse last year as
Mhm.
well. I mean, that took me forever to finish because I couldn't get the number five cover anywhere hardly. But then I finally found it. But yeah, Clayton Crane is my runner up. But then my cover artist for the year is going to be, bam,
Woo.
Gabriel Del Otto. I love me some Del Otto. If there's a Del Otto cover, I'm gonna get it. It's just gonna happen. This one, of course, is the Venom number one from last year, and this is the black and white variant, and this took forever to get. It did because the original run on this one got damaged across the board for a lot of LCSs, and this is the 1 in 100 version of it. But there's a reason why it's a 1 in 100. It's because Delato is that damn good. So Gabriel Delato is my favorite cover artist for 2018. Okay, the next category for tonight, the best writer in comics for this year, for 2018. We've had a lot of great writing this year. We've had some that were good when they started out and then they fizzled out real fast after two issues. And all I'm going to say is no more Superman for this guy. Get Bendis off Superman, please. Um, for the love of God, bring Dan Jurgens back to do a Superman versus him. Um, but with that being said, BJ, who is your favorite writer for the year?
I was contemplating, uh, just because I thought this was a good storyline. Taylor was my runner-up. I think Taylor was the writer. I have to double check on that. For X-Men Red, I really like the storyline, how he did this, bringing back Jean Grey. But this Maxi series, I enjoyed this so much that I wanted to find other books that this gentleman wrote, and I started buying some more, and I'm starting to like his stories more and more each time I find them. I look for them, and I don't want to read them a hoopla. I want the books in my hand to read it. It's Ed Brubaker
Yep.
with Killer Be Killed. It was a phenomenal, absolute good story. I bought two or three more books after I read this from him, just because I found them at my LCS during like our like midnight sales for half off and whatnot. Really
All
good guy.
right. I don't have the comic out. My runner up this year is Ethan Sachs, who does Old Man Hawkeye. That series is phenomenal. I know Brock likes them too. I think this is why we told Brock to go read it a long time ago. But Ethan Sachs has been doing amazing with that. And they're getting ready to start an Old Man Star Lord next year, or actually this year.
Oh man,
Um,
I'll,
so,
I'll have to pick that one
it's
up.
going to be interesting to see what an old man Star Lord does. And I wonder if his damn Walkman still works or not.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, maybe he's got a Discman this time.
I know a CD player or
Yeah.
an iPod, one of those old style iPods.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Pulls like a
but
hundred
yeah,
dollars.
so like I said, Ethan Sachs has been doing great work with Old Man Hawkeye. Definitely let him keep running those kind of books. He's been doing great stories with that. But my number one writer is going to be, it's pretty easy once you see the covers. It's going to be my boy, Donny Cates.
Yeah.
So when you do Venom, you do Death of Inhuman, and you do Cosmic Ghost Rider, and
Marvel
you do
Knights
Thanos. Huh?
and Marvel Knights.
Yep. And it's like it's crazy. It's just like I mean, everything he's been doing, and he does Redneck too. And I read Redneck as well.
Oh, that's right.
Um, so Donnie's been killing it this last 2 years. He blew up. I mean, what really helped blow him up was Thanos, was because once he built Cosmic Ghost Rider as a new character, which was the Punisher, the old man Punisher as Cosmic Ghost Rider, I mean, it just kept going and going. Now, Charles Sewell was going to be in there until I got to issue 2 of Return of Wolverine, and that kind of killed his running in this year. He did some amazing work in Astonishing X-Men. Don't get me wrong, in the first saga
Yeah.
of it. But after that, I'm like, no, you don't get to be in the list this year. But
Yeah.
yeah, Donnie kind of stole the show this year with Cosmic and Thanos, and then Venom. I mean, literally, when he came over and did Venom and took it over, it's been freaking amazing. I mean, some of the storylines he's been doing, and it's funny because there was a thing we were reading it the other day about the whole movement thing,
Hmm.
the Comic Gate kind of thing. Um, and I don't know a lot about it, but Donnie says, I don't want nothing to do with you guys.
Hmm.
So it's like, I'm not getting into politics. I'm not getting into all this stuff, but I'm going to write the story the way I want to write it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. And that's pretty much what all comic book people do every day, at NLCS. If you don't like the story, you don't buy it anymore, So I kind of like that attitude a little bit because it opens up the pathway for new people to come in and read stories that they usually wouldn't read. Um,
Hmm.
so, like I said, my number one writer of the year is Donny Cates.
Crazy. He made himself known for this past year. When was the last time somebody did that? Just like one writer had so many comic books out in a year that just were going to at least fourth or fifth printing.
There's only one person I can think of, and that's Chris Claremont when he was doing the X-Men stuff in the 90s and like early 2000s, when he took back over for Bendis.
Yeah.
Claremont was on so many books. That and X Force, X Factor. He was writing a little bit on everything, but nah, nobody can really touch Donnie now, though.
Mm. I mean, you got Jason Aaron. He still doing Avengers and Thor? He just
Yep.
had in Conan, and then his Southern Bastards. But yeah, I mean, Aaron's been around for at least 3 or 4 years, putting his name in it. But then Donny Cates just threw a damn fastball in the Marvel universe. It's crazy. Good
It
for him.
is. Well, it's just like, 'cause I remember when I first read Redneck. I mean, he was a nobody when Redneck first came out. He
Hmm.
wrote some things here and there, and then he started writing these little stories here and there for Thanos, and then people started like, well, I like that writing. I like that style of writing because it's fast. It's like a fast read through it
Hmm.
too. And there's a lot of good dialogue. Because some books don't have a lot of good dialogue in between characters. Some of it, you got the box, you got the read, and you got like one little bubble to read. But he really focuses a lot on dialogue, which I actually like better. Um, but yeah, it's been nuts. Him and Aaron. I mean, Jason Aaron was freaking awesome, anyways, because he was doing Wolverine. Rick Remender as another honorable
Hmm.
mention. Jeff Lemire. Those guys have been real busy this year as well.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's pretty much it. I mean, and Mark Millar did a couple of things, but after he did Reborn, he hasn't done a whole lot since then.
I think because with his contract in Netflix, he wants to make sure that what he wrote down on pen is coming into life as is. I mean, that he created it. So I'm pretty sure he'll probably at least one series, maybe two a year. He'll probably do, but he's gonna making money with Netflix right now.
Oh yeah, I mean he's making a lot of money between him and Remender doing freaking Dead to Class. Um,
Oh, wow. Can't wait.
I already saw the first episode. I'm like, oh, keep it coming.
Yeah,
Um,
so good.
hey, we do have a question from Life with Brock. Do they put maxi series in traits? Yes, they do. Um, they are a little more pricey as far as they go. Your standard usually $15 to $20. Those end up being 30 to 35. So they
Mhm.
do maxi series like that. Good example. Let me see.
Kill or Be Killed is a maxi series. I believe this is 12 issues. They do 4 volumes, or after the 4 volumes come out, they'll come out with a deluxe edition. These are usually $10 to $16, $17, but this is Image. With Marvel or DC, I'm not too sure. I'm guessing probably one big thick book.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say because like this is the last time I've seen a really good like maxi series, and it was multiple the Maximum
Oh,
Carnage. It's a 12 issue saga that was put together into a trade, and I mean, like I said, they're still doing it. It's just not as much. Another good example of Marvel doing it is this one, and this is freaking heavy.
oh yeah, look at that thing.
Uncanny X-Force. And this is issues 1 through 19. And then the other one has
22, 26.
it's
38.
19 through 35. So they do it, Brock. It's just you have to find the right avenue that you want to read it in. Highly recommend these two books, though. Recommender. Uncanny X Force.
Yes, good artwork too.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Opina does the artwork.
Hmm.
So that's going to bring us up to our number one category, and then I've got a bonus category BJ doesn't know about.
Oh, good.
Um, so we're gonna look at what is our favorite storyline for 2018. And this is the best that we thought as far as the story was good. For the love of God, don't say Infinity Wars. But this is the best storyline that we want. So BJ, what is your favorite for this year?
Now, the storyline is it gotta be continuing going on, or
It can still be going on, yeah.
okay. I don't have any continuing going on. Damn. I'll go X-Men Red just because a lot of people wanted this to be continued, and they brought out a couple new characters, and they made a couple of characters that a lot of people didn't like. Like Brock didn't like that one character, Xavier's twin brother. Made it, you know, okay as a villain. It didn't go crazy with all the telekinesis craziness, but just the battle between them and how it ended up. Did you finish reading this yet?
Yep, already read it. Yep.
Okay. The ending part, spoiler, when everybody comes out with Magneto helmets
Yeah,
into
and they just
the
walk onto the
battle.
freaking store line.
I mean, she brings out the big guns. She brings Namor. She brings Tony Stark. She brings Captain America, Thor, and they're all wearing Magneto helmets. It's great. I liked it. And then it was tough. It was that or kill or be killed. But Brubaker, I got a feeling kill or be killed. That could be going into. They can go prior to the story to bring back the storyline between his father, or they can go forward and talk about another story with his girlfriend and still keep the same background character that's in there. That kind of makes the book what it is. So I had to give some love to X-Men Red.
Yeah. Well, and that is the thing is like I loved X-Men Red. I mean, because just the storyline, because Jean Grey, it was funny too because we had the Phoenix Resurrection, in 2017 where they brought Jean Grey back to life.
Mm,
She purposely said, "I do not want to be the Phoenix ever again." So she got rid of the Phoenix, and now she is just a super Omega mutant that has telekinesis, telepathy, and stuff like that. But she really didn't use a lot of it in X-Men Red. I mean,
mm-mm.
she did more talking with people, trying to communicate and trying to bring people together.
Yes.
Um, and she was trying to get everybody to understand that Cassandra Nova was a crazy old loon and was influencing everybody and their brother to make bad decisions. Um, and so it was an interesting read. I like the Namor piece, because bringing Namor into the fact now Namor is a bad guy again in Avengers. So it's
Yeah.
it's even.
Spoiler.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah. But Namor's always been that way. He can be a good guy this week, a bad guy next week. You know. But the cool thing was, is I liked the storyline. I liked how they brought in the guy who I forgot what his name is. He gets, he was feeling pain anytime he used his powers. Um,
Oh yes.
and then Jean Grey helped
Um,
him stop doing that. Yeah.
mhm. Guy from
So she was
Wakanda.
up to fix that kind of stuff. I'm like, that's freaking awesome.
Hmm. And I also like the one uh, mutant that can talk to electronics.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, binary.
yeah, she was pretty cool. Still tattooed.
Hey Kevin, welcome in. Hey Shaz. So yeah, the X-Men Red was good, but it's not Marvel for my comics this year. Um, so runner up this year for Nate, and Shaz already ruined it. It was The Witching Hour, between Wonder Woman and Justice League Dark. One of my favorite sagas. What happens when you find new information out about Wonder Woman that she didn't even know that she's an actual witch? Um,
Spoiler.
yep. But yeah, the cool thing was is I liked the storyline. I liked how they went back and forth. It was seamless. It's not like like Infinity Wars where you have to go read, was it Soldier Supreme, Weapon Hex. You get a little piece back and forth. Now this was straight seamless. You got done with this issue, went to the next one. It wasn't go back and forth, 1,000 issues like Marvel does. So
Yeah.
yeah, Witching Hour was freaking awesome this year. Um, but then my number one storyline, because it finished this year in 2018, was Metal. Metal actually finished in 2018. I love DC Metal. The whole storyline, the fallout from there with No Justice, as well as we've got new teams, with the new
Hmm.
challengers, we've got the unexpected. Don't waste your time on damage. You got Sideways. There was a lot of great stories that came out of Metal. And it really made you think about things. You have Batman and the Signal. Uh, Um, so there was a big change in the way DC did comics too. I mean, after they did Metal, it was like, what do we do now? Um, Now, honorable mention would have been Doomsday Clock if they could actually have an issue show up when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
That's the catch 22. The button, that was great in 2017. 2018, we still ain't done with Doomsday Clock. We still ain't seen Dr. Manhattan fight Superman yet. So it's like,
No.
come on, people. Um, but yeah, Metals, that was awesome. I love the storyline. I hope they keep doing those kind of stories. Um, and those comics are worth so much money now too. It was astronomical. Some of this prices, like go try to get the Suicide Squad and the Nightwing issues. They're like $30 each now.
Really?
And they're individual um, comics. They're not like foil covers or nothing. They're just hard to find because they're so low print. Um, so yeah, that was Nate's favorite storyline for the year was DC Metal. Um, Next year in 2019, or this year in 2019, because it's already here, what I'm thinking we're going to see is a lot of changes in the way Marvel does stuff because they're changing a lot of stuff now that's actually better. Um, as much as we hated saying it, the last 2 years, the way they kept retconning everything, in Marvel,
Hmm.
we had the whole legacy event, and that kind of reset the button on Marvel, and it actually did work a little bit. And the reason
Hmm.
I can say it worked a little bit, look at Avengers. There's an amazing storyline by Jason Aaron. Doctor Strange done by Mark Waid. I mean, we've got Donny Cates doing Venom. Um, ASM with Spencer, no, that's still not working for me. I still read it because I love ASM, but it's just like it's not the same. Um, but there's been a lot of great storylines come out. I will say my favorite part of 2018 for Marvel, They got rid of X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold, and 1,000 X-Men titles, and we're down to one, or
That's
two X-Men titles, So, because I was getting tired of that. I mean, and I think a lot of people in the comic, world are getting tired of that too, where you have to buy 4 issues a month just to keep up. Whereas, like, just give me one story. That way I can kind of read other stuff too.
oh yeah.
Yep. And Shazza brings up Donny Cates with Guardians of the Galaxy coming up soon. Yep. It's gonna be freaking awesome.
Ah man, he's telling you doing everything. Um, that's this past year for 2018. I'm not sure if you can see this shelf right here. That was it's a 3 foot long shelf, and that was full of trades. I've read every one of those up to here in the past year, just from recommendations, learning about the writers I really like, and recommendations from people, from help from Brock, from Demi, who is Shazak, from you, from Kyle, from my friends down here. And then just keep on going. I read so many trades, and that's not even including Hoopla as well, which I'm reading on the DC side, because a lot of you guys love some DC, and I'm seeing why now. It's complete 180 compared to uh, Marvel. So
Yeah. Well, and that's the catch 22 is that a lot of DC they let them just write, and do their storylines, except for the main titles like Batman, Superman, and stuff. But if you read the external stuff, like freaking Justice League has been amazing. They brought the Legion of Doom back. I mean, they haven't had the Legion of Doom in decades. And it's freaking awesome to see them all back together again. Um, and I don't know what it is. It's like it's a different style with DC versus Marvel. Marvel
yes.
just tries to push as many titles out as they can get out and make money on it. DC doesn't do that. I mean, if you look at theirs, they put 1 issue out a month per title typically, unless it's like Justice League. I think they're doing 2 a month. Um, but I tell you, the one surprise thing that got me this year was freaking Sandman. They brought Sandman back into the DC universe. I was so happy, and with Garth, and everybody else joining. I was like, Neil Gaiman's doing it, and Garth Ennis is wanting to do some of it too. And I'm like, I'm gonna freaking have a conniption fit. If Garth Ennis and Neil Gaiman work together and do a comic book, holy crap! Between Preacher and Sandman, and I was like, Heroes in Crisis. That's been an amazing storyline too. And that is a Tom King book. I
Hmm.
love that book he's writing. I don't like his Batman, but I will give it another chance. After he finishes his saga, and I'll read it then.
Yes.
But yeah, Heroes in Crisis is a good storyline, and because it goes back to the '70s, all the way back to Neil Adams and Danny O'Neill writing stories about drugs and alcohol and issues and dealing with real issues, not just
Hmm.
fighting bad guys, but dealing with issues. Because everybody knows Arsenal Roy Harper was a junkie in comics. He was a bad junkie. I mean, it started all the way back with Green Arrow in the '70s, with Neil Adams and Danny O'Neill. So in Heroes in Crisis, they kind of deal with all that fallout. Because what happens when Roy dies? And Roy died. Spoiler alert: Roy Harper's dead in the comics. There is no Arsenal.
Yeah.
Um, so the question being is like, what do you do in that situation? How do you cope with that? And they had a place that superheroes would go to. It was their counseling place. But what happens when you have all those people that are hurting and having issues, and then they get attacked? And that one fortitude, or it's sort of like the Fortress of Solitude. Like they go to a place where they're not supposed to be hurt, maimed, they're supposed to get help, and they actually get killed. So it's a great storyline. Highly recommend Heroes in Crisis. Um, so that brings me up to my category, my bonus category,
Oh boy.
that nobody knew about. And since Kyle ain't here, we're gonna give him a rash of crap later. By the way.
No, dude. So sad he's not here.
Um, so the bonus category is what is your favorite comic that got turned into a movie or TV show in 2017 slash 2018 slash 2019? Because we know how some of these kind of stretch over time. They get
Yeah.
started and get converted over.
Man. Uh, well, I can't consider Dated Class yet because I mean the first pilot did come out, but it's not supposed to. It doesn't air online or on Sci-Fi until January 16th. Plug it in, just a plug in there, guys. Check it out. Oop, my
I
bad
got
button.
something.
Um, uh, I'm gonna go with Happy. I just watched that and I really enjoyed that. I'm going off the wall. Um, just everybody loves Infinity War. I think it was tremendous, but I'm going with Happy. It was totally different. Did not even read that, and I think I'm dying here. Let's
Oh,
see.
remove.
Let me see if I can find myself here.
Oh, right. Yeah, Happy looked good. And for me, I was looking at a couple of things. Deadly Class was on there. I mean, it's straight up on that because they've been talking about that for over a year of bringing it into an actual show. So I really loved that first episode, that pilot they showed. But my favorite one is Legion. I love that show. Legion is freaking crazy on FXX because it is David Haller. It is Professor X's son, and him dealing with all of his multiple personalities. In that show, it's not exactly the same as the storyline as from the comics. They definitely have to take some liberties with that, but out of all the shows I've seen this last year, Legion still takes the cake. Runner up though is going to be a tie between the Flash and DC Legends of Tomorrow. I
Hmm.
love the Flash. I love how the DC guys have been doing it. I'm not a big fan of Arrow, but I do like Flash and DC Legends of Tomorrow as well.
Thanks for reminding me. I got to catch up on Legion now. I totally forgot about that show. I'm probably in 3 or 4 of the first series. Yeah, I've got Hulu, so I got to check that out.
Yeah, Nightwalker's is it like X-Men? Nope, not at all. It is its own storyline, and if there is, if you remember in the old X-Men comics, where David Haller was in a hospital, and he was actually in a coma at the time. This is a similar situation in the Legion show. He's in a hospital. He's not in a coma, but he's still trying to deal with all of his personalities, and then he's starting to learn how to deal with everything else around him, other than just his personalities. Um, but yeah, love Legion, DC Legends of Tomorrow, and The Flash are great. Um, I will tell you one thing that was cool. They've done it for the last 2 years. They just did it again. Was that crossover they did with Supergirl, Arrow, The Flash, and DC Legends, Crisis on Earth X. That was an amazing little crossover they did, and then they just did Elseworlds, where it was reversed, where Barry Allen is Arrow versus what you call it, Oliver McQueen being the Flash. It's kind of a cool twist on the storyline. So definitely, it's been a good time for TV shows, especially for that. Now, last category, the last
Oh.
bonus category, worst TV show that that we watched this year.
Inhumans.
Well, damn,
Inhumans.
that was fast.
Um, I, 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 I saw Cloak and Dagger a little bit. I didn't finish it. I was like, I want to see. I actually went 6 episodes in that. It wasn't god awful. Um, Inhumans. I don't know what they did to the Inhumans, but it was very colorful. Um, but it just lagged. I don't understand what they were trying to do with that. But yeah, how about you?
Well, it's going to be the same thing. And Humans was horrible. I mean, come on, they cut him with his hair in the first episode or second episode. It's like you just took out
Yeah,
one of the secondary top characters, and the second top character in the show. You took away all of her powers, and you pretty much tried to kill off everybody. So it's like that one kind of blew it for me. Another one that wasn't so good this year, of course, was Arrow. Didn't like Arrow. I didn't like the storyline. And I think it's been that way for the last couple of seasons.
hmm
Thanks for coming by, Brock. Thanks, brother. Um, and then, actually, I was going to put Cloak and Dagger on that list. And the reason why is that Cloak is not supposed to be a kid. Giving
yeah,
you a break, and Dagger's not supposed to be like a semi whatever how old she is, and it's like no, they're adults, they're in the Spider Verse, just let them be, their normal stuff, and I think that's the difference between us and the newer generations of people that are watching, and it's because we have a predefined look or a feeling that what they should look like because of the comics we've read for so many years.
right.
Kids and people coming into the shows today, they have no idea who these characters are. You know, they think, oh, that's cool. It reaches out to them and their dynamic. Like you look at Brock, you look at us, you look at Kevin, Nightwalker, a lot of these other ones, we're all in that same age category. Been reading comics for 20, 25, 30 years, you know, and it's kind of the catch 22 is that we have things that we want to see. When you screw up in Humans so bad that they cancel it after the episode, and they're like, they almost canceled Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because of Inhumans.
Yeah.
It was so bad. And I'm like, you better not cancel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, I will say the whole saga with them fighting the Kree thing was stupid. You know, in the future, and then they don't know who they are. Then they figure out who they are, and then they go back home. It was like, come on, really? It's kind of a stretch.
I need to catch up on that too. I'm
Uh,
I'm
but
behind on
yeah,
that one as well. I finished Daredevil. I thought that was not bad.
yeah. I mean, Daredevil was good. Punisher was really good. Damn, I can't wait for season 2 to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Defenders, that was kind of a weak series for me. Um, Iron Fist season 2 was actually better than the first one.
Yeah.
you know. But they've canceled literally everything's canceled. Luke Cage is canceled. They've canceled Iron Fist. There's going to be no more Defenders. Hell, they're looking at canceling Daredevil too. So and, it's just like okay, and there's a reason for that. And it's because Disney now owns Marvel. And that they're going to pull it all to their own Disney service. Disney wants to do it themselves. They don't want Netflix taking the money from them.
Yeah.
Which makes sense as a business. But the only problem I have is that they better keep it the same way on the Disney service. Is because if you tell me that I can't go watch Daredevil or watch one of those shows that's TVMA or TV whatnot, because there's a lot of violence in these shows. People die all the time.
Oh yeah.
You can't just be watching freaking Bambi and then go watch Daredevil. You know, so I mean, hopefully they do it right. When they restart it. But yeah, Cloak and Dagger, Inhumans, worst ones I've seen this year. All right, last category for the night. See, and this is why I wanted Kyle here too, because Kyle would have had fun with this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, what was your favorite movie of the year?
Does that have to be comic book wise?
No, they don't have to be comic book ones.
Um, damn, there's a pretty good bit of them. I did the top five on Cincy's little category. Can't, I think I put Infinity War up there as my favorite. But non comic book related. There's a movie called Annihilation with Natalie Portman and Oscar Isaac. It was pretty good. It's the same director who did The Arrival. Very off the wall, and Ex Machina too. If you've seen that one,
Mm-hmm.
he did that same. He's the same director. I don't think it was in the theaters that long because I came out on the Best Buy catalog. I was like, damn, that's quick. But it's just the way it looked, the CGI, the color in the movie and everything. It's just totally different. I like some weird movies every once in a while, so it makes you want to sit there and just like zone in and keeps you into the movie too. I did see Aquaman. It was pretty good. I think they're going in the right direction with DC movies and whatnot.
Well, and DC, it's funny because like you had, it's a weird dynamic, and the real dynamic was Zack Snyder. You know, he was the one who made things worse. You know, in most of the movies. Um, because you take him out of like Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, Justice League, and then you went to all these other individual movies: Wonder Woman, Aquaman. You know, we're gonna have a Flash. There's gonna be a Green Lantern. The Batman that's coming out. Excuse me. These are all doing better as individual movies because they're
Mhm.
working on character development first before making them a team. Um, I've not seen Aquaman yet, so I can't give an opinion on it. But I will say I've watched. Let's see. I watched Venom. I watched Infinity War. I watched Black Panther. I watched Bumblebee. Of course, I had to watch Bumblebee.
Oh,
Um, um, but there's out of all the movies this year, it's probably a tie between Venom and Bumblebee because I like the dynamic that Venom did. Is it 100% comic accurate? No, but I don't expect it to be either. You
yeah.
know, I liked how they had Tom Hardy be Venom. It showed a lot of character development as he went through the movie. Um, and it was funny as hell just to see him go and try to eat people's brains. You know, it's like, I want to eat your brains. I'm like, that is such a Todd McFarlane call out, you know, from the 90s. I was like, yeah,
Absolutely.
buddy. Um, but yeah, I like Venom, and of course, I like Bumblebee. There were still issues, of course, with Bumblebee. Michael Bay still tied to it, so you could feel some of those Michael Bay isms in the movie. Um, but they were so small that it didn't really deter from the movie. You know, it's still the best Transformers movie out there.
Yeah.
Out of all the five that came out, this is still better. You know, and I like the development they did, and the humans they had with Bumblebee actually made sense. There was character development between them. It wasn't just, oh, I'm gonna go ride in Bumblebee around the world while I'm getting beaten and shot up, you know, by a barricade or other people. You
Yeah.
know, it was like, no, he was a person, he was a thing. You know, they got sent from Cybertron. He crash lands on Earth. Now he's got to figure out how to remember how to do everything. But that's why I think for me, Bumblebee is still my number one movie for the year. Um, and Nightwalker brings up a good, real point, and that is the animated world between DC and Marvel. Marvel will
Hmm.
never touch DC as far as the movies goes for animated, except for Spider Verse that just came out.
Exciting.
That's pretty good. I mean for a movie that they put in theater, that was really good. Um, the other Catch 22 though, that's the first animated movie they've done really well. There's been a lot of crappy stories they've done lately too. Um, but you know, you had The Killing Joke, you had Batman Ninja that came out, you had the one. You know, it's like there was so many DC movies that came out that were really good. Rise of Superman, it's coming out. I can't wait to see that. That's gonna be good. But what do you think? Animated was.
I enjoyed the Batman Ninja one. It was pretty good because it was different. I didn't like the Batman Harley Quinn one. It was just too off the wall for me. Um, the uh, uh, Gotham by Gaslight. I enjoyed that
Mhm.
one. That was one. I haven't seen Death of Superman yet because I thought it was a remake of the one that came out, what, 10 years ago. But that one and then The Rise of the Supermen are coming out in theater next weekend together. So I'm probably gonna check that out and see that. So, um, Actually, you know what? The best movie I saw in theaters this 2018 was the original Transformers movie, 1986. I'm changed my mind. That's what I saw. That was my favorite movie. Come out again.
But you suck. I didn't get a chance to see it. I've always wanted to see it in theater. Just didn't, timing didn't work out. Oh, you could suck a big one.
Well, last time I was in, I was in K-Town over in Germany, and I saw it. So,
I've I've never seen it in theater. I've always wanted to see it in theater. Just never had time to do it. But I mean, I've got it on Blu-ray. I can always watch it, but it's not the same as seeing it on a big screen. Um, the only time I've ever seen it other than that was I saw it at a drive-in, and that
oh,
was
nice.
and it was cool to watch on a drive-in because it felt like Unicron was right behind you in the speakers coming to
Yeah.
get you.
Uh,
It was really cool, but I still want to see it in that theater, that moment
mhm.
of like being in the theater and doing it. All right, so that's all the categories I have for the night. Everybody that came out tonight, thank you guys for being here. This, like I said, was the best of 2018 in categories that we had. Um, and by all means, BJ, if you have any other ones you want to throw in, we can do whatever you want to do, man.
Uh, I can't think of any at top right now. It's kind of past my bedtime. Uh, 2018 was a pretty crazy year. Got to learn a lot from you guys as well with the live stream. Got a new job. It was really good. I had to say goodbye to a couple of people that no longer with us, unfortunately, too. So it was kind of tough at the end, but with family, with friends, and especially with groups that a bunch of us are in, especially the local ones. You know, it's a separate family. It's a cool one, so we're all there for each other, and it's good stuff. And I can't wait to start using my 3D printer and learn how to do some stuff. Just let you know. So if I don't have to pick us for the week, I'll be like, I made this. So
Say, I mean, all right, I'm gonna send you some designs I want made, and you got to figure it out. Um,
all right.
but yeah, you're right. 2018 has been an amazing year. We had some great comics, some great movies, great toys as well. Between Transformer toys, Marvel Legends, you name it, we've had so much stuff. We lost a lot of great people this year. We lost Steve Ditko, we lost Stan Lee, Russ Heath. We lost a lot of great pioneers in the comic industries as well.
Yeah.
Um, so. What that also means though too is that by the ones passing, they've already given their knowledge, they've shared what they could with the people that's coming up today. The new writers, the new artists, and the new producers and editors. So we're going to see a lot of changes, I think, for the better. Hopefully, not cross with Marvel. Who knows? Who really knows with Marvel? Um, but I think they are going into the right path. We'll see. Give me about 6 months when we do that best of so far. See if
Mhm.
Marvel tanked again. But like I said, big shout out to them. Rest in peace, everybody. There was like I said, we lost a lot of great people this year in comics that were our pioneers. But at the same time, they're doing good. The people are doing good now that are writers and artists. So let's keep promoting them. Um, so it's kind of a highlight. We've had Chad, we've had Adam on the channel this last year in 2018. We'll have those guys again this year. Got a couple other guys working on lining them up if we can get them on here. Just timing is always hard
Yeah.
for us. So, but we're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a great year in comics. We're gonna see a lot of new stuff, see a lot of different stuff. So, stay tuned to our channel. Go check out Syndi-Comics. Go check out the
Yeah.
Syndicate. Be part of the groups and talk with us. Like I said, I will be putting these categories into the Syndi-Comics tomorrow morning. Probably, I'm tired now. Um, but it's going to add all the extra categories that weren't in the original list. Um, so I want everybody's feedback from that. Give us feedback, talk to us, let us know what you guys think, And there's things that you guys want to talk about. We're going to start doing a topic of the week. And the topic
Ooh,
of the week, and it might become topic of the month depending on our schedules, but
yes,
we want to get topics from you guys that you want to talk about. Um, there's a lot of stuff in comic books that's coming out. You know, we got the wedding, you know, and Fantastic Four. We've got the Uncanny X-Men, Age of X-Men coming out. Not a lot in DC really, other than you know the Batman Damned, who everybody's going crazy for still. But other than that, like I said, we're gonna start doing the topics of the week. We're gonna see some things change on Syndi-Comics. And if you guys have any problems or any issues, definitely come to BJ, myself, Rosie, Kyle. One of us are always available typically. You know, we can fix any issue that we need to. Um, and we're just going to see where we go. That's how this channel runs, and that's how Syndi-Comics goes. We'll see
yes,
how it goes. So keep showing us hauls, keep us informed on what's going on, keep sharing the news because a lot of us can get out of touch real fast with
yes.
comics. It blows up real fast. So like I said, this has been the best of 2018 this year. Thank you guys for coming by. Thank you, BJ, for always being here. Yeah, I can always
Yes,
count
sir.
on you at least to be here. But no, something probably happened with Kyle. We always give him a hard time, but Kyle really wanted to be here tonight.
Yes, we did.
So, but yeah, you guys take it easy and have a good one, and we'll see you guys maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks. We'll figure it out.
All right.
But the time, so just so everybody's aware, we're going to do it on Sunday nights. Sunday nights are going to be our night for Cindy Comics. That's to deconflict from everything else and all other channels that are having streams and whatnot too. So Sunday nights we're going to do our Cindy Comics, and it'll be the same time, 7:30. We'll do it here. So you guys take it easy and have a good one, and we'll see you guys on the next round. All right, all right, all right.